Welcome to Be Wise, information about cannabis for older adults. Brought to you by Active Aging Canada, a national charity that supports older adults living well and remaining active. Production for this podcast was made possible through a financial contribution from Health Canada's Substance Use and Addictions Program. Now, let's go to the Active Aging Canada studios and join National Executive Director Patty Clark and Ward Maxwell, Director of Marketing and Communications. Today, how cannabis can affect lack of appetite, glaucoma, and Parkinson's.
I'm going to first talk about lack of appetite. The THC in cannabis is thought to stimulate the appetite, and cannabis users often get hungry. We've heard of that word, you've got the munchies, right? People want to have the munchies. But there's really no research that proves this is true for older adults. There is some limited research, once again, it's limited research, that shows THC can increase appetite in people with HIV, AIDS, and cancer patients. But right now, that's as far as the research goes, and we have nothing more to share with you from this perspective.
It's the same for glaucoma, Patty. Anecdotally, people have always thought cannabis helps with glaucoma, but there's no strong evidence of that. Cannabis can reduce swelling, and it does have the ability to reduce eye pressure, but the research shows that any amount of cannabis used to help with the glaucoma, it requires so much, it would cause unwanted effects and responses. The Canadian Ophthalmological Society does not support cannabidiol use for treatment of glaucoma.
Let's chat a few minutes about Parkinson's disease. Parkinson's disease is the second most common neurodegenerative disorder after Alzheimer's disease in Canada. And 79% of individuals with Parkinson's are over the age of 65. So it really is an older adult disease in many respects. In Parkinson's, the disease causes tremors to develop. Muscle movements become slower and more rigid, and the reflexes become impaired. And this contributes to a loss of balance. So it is thought, and here I'm just saying again, it is thought, there is some research to support it, but there's not a lot of research yet. But it is thought that the part of the brain affected by the Parkinson's disease can be positively affected by the antioxidant and the anti-inflammatory properties of CBD to reduce some of the symptoms that we've chatted about. So there is some promising research in animals, but it has not yet happened in humans. So we can't say outright that there is an effect with humans, but it is promising, and there will be more research in the future on Parkinson's disease.
That's right, Patty. We're going to finish off this part of our podcast, and then next we're going to move on to talking about cannabis, treating Alzheimer's, and cannabis and its effect on mental health to wind up this section on cannabis and medical conditions. Thanks, Patty.
Thanks, Ward. See you next week.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. For more information, go to activeagingcanada.ca, where you can order a copy of our Be Wise booklet. It's available in 17 languages and is free. The views expressed in this podcast do not necessarily represent the views of Health Canada's Substance Use and Addictions Program. Join us for our next podcast, and until then, remember to be active, be healthy, and be wise.